blew that up once, lost all my 1,500, had to refund, try again, and you know, dug my way back out of that hole, and now I'm up about $8.5 million.
What's up, Tim Sykes here with Tim Grittani.
Hey.
The man. This guy is not only my top student, he also has a guide called Trading Tickers. Tell them what this is about.
Trading Tickers, I made that back in 2015, and it really was with the goal of trying to help people learn things that it took me a long time to figure out on my own.
Yeah, you're trying to speed up their learning curve.
Exactly, yeah. So really it was the first 3 or 4 chapters I think I dedicated completely towards just beginner lessons that I had to learn the hard way, the long way.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, it was just chapters of individual strategies.
Yeah. No, and that's beautiful. And in case you didn't understand, we're going to post a link just below this video for Trading Tickers. We'll give you a special deal because we want you to study. I don't know if you know this, but like Trading Tickers has the best reviews of all the guys
That's good to hear.
that I've ever seen.
That's
like,
really good to hear.
You know, some people are like, Tim Sykes, like, well, you know, are you pissed that this guy is better than you at trading, he's better than you at teaching? And I'm like, that's fine, fantastic. I could use the help, and this is great. So what you've done with Trading Tickers, I mean, how long did it take you to make it?
It took like 6 months. It was 6 months.
You were putting it together, there's live trades, like there's so much.
I mean, got to do it right if you're going to do it.
You did it right. So I highly encourage you to watch this. Just brief everybody, what have you been up to now? Like, just explain your whole journey really quickly. Why should people learn from this? Okay,
I mean, I started trading back in 2011, had $1,500 of my own money, borrowed some money from my parents just to keep more accounts open. I was worried about the pattern day trader rules. So I had 3 different brokerage accounts open, but the rule was, you know, their money is just to keep the brokerage accounts open. I can't take positions any bigger than my $1,500. And so blew that up once, lost all my 1,500, had to refund, try again, and you know, dug my way back out of that hole, and now I'm up about $8.5 million.
I like how you say you cashed it. Like, yeah, I made like $8.5 million. Is that what did you think?
It's weird how casual it feels. Yeah. Honestly, like even when I got to the million, I think you'll remember me saying like it wasn't like a big $200,000 trade that got me there.
It made 9.
It was a 9. I was gonna say 6. Like I don't even really remember the trade, but it was like a trade I'd done 1,000 times. You know, it was something that I'd done over and over.
You said this on
nothing
Fox.
special.
You said this on Fox TV. We're on TV. We'll post a link below this video too. And they're like, "Tell us about the trade that put you over $1 million." You're like, "I made 9 on it," and I was just like, "It's cool how like it becomes." You know, it's not just about the money at the end, right? Like, you know, it's cool that you've made this money. It gives you a better life. It gives your family a better life. But it becomes a process. And that's what we want to teach you. You know, it sounds amazing. Trust me, I get it. I see, you know, what people message me where, like, I want to make millions of dollars. You should. But in order to do that, you have to focus on the process. Right. You can't just say, oh, I want to make millions. Give me one stock tip. And that's why Trading Tickers is so valuable. It's not about, like, I don't think any of the stocks that you trade in this guide still exist.
I mean, every now and then one pops up.
They might exist, but they're not doing much. They're not like, they didn't turn into anything big.
You know, the one I remember saying most recently is BIOC. I've got a live trade of BIOC on Trading Tickers, and that one, I think this year, had some reverse split and big run. So
they still run a little bit, but what you have to understand is that we don't invest in these companies thinking that they're the next Microsoft.
That was a short, yeah, and I think I shorted it again.
But you have to understand how different this is than what most people think penny stock trading is. Yeah. They think like, I have to find the next Microsoft.
Oh, it's nothing like that, no.
And then they hold in hope.
For me, I'm a day trader. It's thousands of trades every year, and just do it over and over and over again.
And Trading Tickers help speed up your education.
That's the goal. I mean, I think the beginner chapters especially, like, you know, I joined your course February 2011. By December 31st, 2011, I was up $4,000. That was my first 11 months. Yeah. And I had a blow up in there. Yeah. So really
what was the next 11 months?
The 2012 was like 150,000, I think.
So you went from 4,000 to 150,000.
Right.
And then what about the next year?
600,000? No. Next year was maybe closer to 800 or 850. I don't even remember. I'd have to look now.
The interesting thing is my first year, 1998, I made a few thousand. Second year, I made about 120,000. Third year, I made roughly 700,000. But I had much more volatility back in 99 and 2000. But it's very similar. It's the process. And you can't just go from 0 to $1 million very quickly, right? It took you basically 3 years.
Oh,
which
yeah.
sounds quickly,
For sure.
but it's learning the process, learning how to make $30 or $50 or $500. And then sizing up.
No,
on the same trade, you make 5,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's, taking that trade in 2011 where I make $50 and realizing that's just a step along the way, to the bigger picture.
Yeah. So how do we get people to study this? Have you gotten messages from people about trading tickers or emails?
Oh yeah, I get lots of emails and questions about it. Yeah.
Well, what's one what are people saying who have seen it?
I mean, I get a lot of really nice reviews, which is, I really appreciate it. The criticisms I get, some of them I feel might be warranted, and it can be a little slow and boring at times. Yeah,
trading is slow and boring.
Absolutely, yeah.
The process of becoming wealthy is not fun. You get to have fun later.
I'm sorry I didn't include little techno music, between each chapter.
That's my fault. I included some music videos.
Yeah, it's a music-less DVD. I'm really sorry.
I'm sorry. I made it a little too entertaining. The process is not fun, and that's a good disclaimer. The process of getting wealthy is not fun. We're going to add that graphic here. Yeah. You're going to have to slug away studying data, testing out different strategies, thinking that you're a scientist, experimenting, having a test sometimes that goes wrong. I mean, in trading tickers, they're not all wins. You don't just say,
I made sure to show losses. I made sure to show some pretty painful losses and explain why they happened.
And I think it's more important that you show that too, because a lot of traders don't.
That's what I get, I think, the best feedback about, is people will message me about the trades I made that were the big losers and just say oh man, I was so tense watching that, I couldn't believe it. And that's the stuff I hope gets through. Okay, yeah, you just saw me get stubborn, and I really hope that seeing this helps you avoid that yourself.
And that's what this is all about. You're going to have wins, you're going to have losses. That's part of the journey. Eventually, you have to learn to minimize the losses, which you've done fantastically well. Yeah. And then, grow your gains. Let me just ask you, the strategies that you use, even if maybe not all the strategies are the same because it's been a few years, but the strategies that you use that still work today, when you started, maybe you would take a small position. Today, you can use the same exact strategy with a bigger position. So it might have paid you $50 on the trade back then. Now it can pay you $50,000. Do you agree with that?
Breakouts especially, and that's a couple of the chapters I teach. I kind of explained it for OTC breakouts, and then I got another chapter for listed stock breakouts. But those especially have been the ones that I've done throughout my career, really, and I still do today, where, back then, it was I buy an OTC breakout, I make $100, and I feel really good, because at the time I have a $1,500 account. Yeah. And now I buy an OTC breakout, and I might make $40,000 or $50,000 if the conditions are right.
Yes.
And those don't come around often, but it's great when they do.
This is so important. You guys need to see that. And it's tough to explain this, because you're sometimes I make $100 because I trade with a small account these days, and I donate all my trading profits to charity because I want to teach. So they're like, you're a multimillionaire. Why do you care about something where you make $100 or $200 with a small position? Because it's the process. And this is what matters the most. I know that there are some traders where they just take big positions and they show you the big profits, and then when you think you're going to start studying and trading, you're going to get those big profits. It does not work like that. And trading tickers, for me, I love it because you show big gains. Back then, at least, when there were big gains.
I mean, I was trading pretty big in 2015.
What's the biggest profit in trading tickers?
Good question. 25,000 maybe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is your gains have gotten bigger since then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've had some bigger ones since
But
then.
You also have some small gains and some small losses in the guide, which...
I mean, I had it after, I made trading tickers after my $290,000 loss.
Yeah.
I talk about my $290,000 loss. I will say for sure that trading tickers was made at a time where I was starting to become a little more risk aware.
Yeah. No, and that's good. I mean, frankly, you shouldn't learn from somebody who's not risk aware.
Yeah.
There's a lot of newbies teaching these days, and they're like, oh, the strategy's fine, everything's fine, but not that they're bad people, they just don't know what they don't know. They haven't learned how to manage their risks, and then sadly, it's their students that pay the ultimate price. So I'm glad that you talk about that. I'm not glad that you had the big losses, but at least you utilize those big losses so that you guys watching trading tickers can learn from this and learn from his mistakes. What was that phrase that you had in the tweet when you were going too big on a stock going against you? There was a tweet.
Oh, that I was going to drop the hammer?
You were going to drop the hammer.
I was going to drop the hammer the next day on it. It hit 1 round 1, but tomorrow I'm going to drop the hammer.
We're going to show that tweet here, and we can all laugh at that. Because
yeah, please do.
I think you said, I'm going to drop the hammer tomorrow, and you're like, I don't care what happens. Like, this is what, I'm going to do this.
I don't know if I said that, but I probably was thinking.
You said something
probably
like,
was.
You're like, whatever happens, I'm dropping the hammer tomorrow. And that is not someone who thinks about their risk first. That's like
not
vengeance.
someone. That's not someone
emotion.
who will have a long trading career.
So you don't want to do that. So you can learn from his mistakes. And I've made mistakes. I've been emotional in the past too. Like, neither of us are perfect traders. You're never going to be a perfect trader. We're all human. At least most of us watching this. Some people don't think that you're human too. Like, they're like, how does he just stay so emotionless? Give them one tip here. How do you stay rather emotionless in these trades when it can be stressful, stocks are moving quick, you know that there's big money at stake? How do you keep it cool?
Oh man, I think the biggest thing that's helped me is just knowing my risk level before I even enter the trade. So I can go into a trade, I can know if this price hits, I get out for a loss, and I can put my size in so that I make sure that if I do have to get out for a loss, it won't be too big. And if I do all of that right, and I know what my dollar loss will be if I lose, and I can be comfortable with that number, then it's pretty easy to stay emotionless.
Yeah.
Then you just sit back and you try to trust your pattern. You try to trust your trade to work out. And sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes you take that loss, and that's what the defined risk is for. That's what the proper sizing is for.
Well, I think a lot of people don't have the defined risk. They don't know how to create the defined risk.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they did have a defined risk, they wouldn't stick to it. And then trading becomes very scary. Right? Mm-hmm. But your trading is not as scary if you stick to the rules.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
But you just have to learn the rules.
That's right.
And then you have to stick to them. We did another video. We're going to include that link to the longer video below this video so that you have a greater understanding of this man's journey. But please, watch Trading Tickers, okay? It is literally the best guide that I've ever seen. A lot of people say this too. He shares his wins. He shares his losses. He's arguably the most successful penny stock trader who teaches openly. Like, there's successful people. We don't know about them because they don't talk about anything publicly. But you talk about everything publicly. What's one last tip that you can give people?
One last tip, definitely start small. Because, like I said, I started small with my 1,500. I lost that 1,500 the first time I tried. And there's no doubt in my mind that if I had started with 5,000 or 10,000 and that had been what I lost, I'd be done. Like, I would never have had my second chance.
Start small and study often. Understand this is a marathon, not a sprint. That way you have the right mentality from the start. Also, leave some comments below this video if you've seen Trading Tickers. Tell people what you thought about it, because it's actually pretty amazing. I have never seen any negative reviews. All I see is like people being like, "Oh my God, this is amazing," and there's really nothing else like it. So thank you again.
Of course.
Study up, start small, have patience. Hey, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope that they help you. I want to share everything that I've learned over the years. You can check out more videos right over there. And also click subscribe so that you can watch all of these videos, get that knowledge, and become my next millionaire student.